Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org. I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Johnny DiLoretto. This is Cinema Classics.
It sure is, boy.
We have been recently revisited at the box office by a classic. He's back.
He is.
King Kong.
Yep.
In Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fun movie.
It is.
Did you think it was fun?
I thought it was such a tribute to the ability of creative people to recreate a myth that's been done numerous times since 1933.
Yeah.
And to make it exciting and fun and contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it very much, as well as everybody with me. So it struck me that we should talk about monsters in movies.
Giant monsters. Specifically.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, no, you're
Toward
changing
the end.
the
No,
topic.
I'm not.
It says in my email right here from you, giant monsters.
Oh, it does. Oh,
it's in the subject line.
Anyway, you know, the ones that really impressed me in my younger years were the ones that had dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, like The Lost World,
right?
1925.
Yeah, going way back. They were already starting to try to imagine what that was like.
Yeah.
And it's an infectious kind of dream, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we know. I mean, science museums around the world put in dinosaurs, and people come.
And I think that's a great. I'm glad you started there, because I think the scientific knowledge that human beings have had, that giant creatures lived on this planet before us,
yes,
and that they might still be around.
Yeah, right.
Planted this idea in us. So we've made everything giant. There's been giant ants, right? Giant tarantulas.
Right. Giant bees.
Giant, I don't know, there's been a giant rabbit? There's probably been a giant rabbit. But there have been
flies.
Flies, giant flies. Mothra, giant moth. But, what is it about, what is so appealing? Why do we want to see these giant things? Why do we want to see King Kong?
Yeah, I think that there's something, particularly in the Kong, that has to do with our idea of gigantism, human beings growing out of proportion and equally powerful. We have some politicians who probably are giant monsters in their own right. And so I think that we have a fascination with nature unbounded, and that way in our physical presence.
And there's also, I was really, when I was watching this movie, I was like, why do I like this giant gorilla? Why do every time there's a King Kong movie, I want to see this giant gorilla? And it seems so arbitrary that it's a gorilla, because there have been so many iterations. But then I started thinking about it, and I thought it's kind of like that. It's kind of like Wolverine. It's kind of like the werewolf myth, where it's someone you recognize, right? You want to relate to them. Mm-hmm. And then there's this animal part of them that is savage. You want to be a savage. You want to cut loose and destroy things when you feel like it. You don't want to have smart intellectual conversations to defend your point of view. You want to just thump your chest and smash a tree over someone.
You do.
And so I think that's wherein the appeal lies.
Well,
we relate to King Kong.
Well, I think that there's all there, besides that, which is primary, and I agree with you, some kind of an elementary animalism about it. There's also so many subtle cultural subtexts.
Yeah.
For instance, why does the camera concentrate on the eyes of Samuel L. Jackson and then cut over to Kong? Well, I think that there is a commentary on the myth of the black male prowess. Mm-hmm. So that's like the homoerotic subtext of Casablanca.
Well, I'll tell you, I think there is some really heavy stuff going on subtextually. Now, in prior iterations of King Kong, there's always a tribe. There's always a tribe that lives on the island with him and respects him. In the 1933 version, it's just, it's a scared, racist version of an African tribe. They're just wide-eyed and dancing around, screaming and running.
That's true.
And in the 1977 version, with Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges, they keep the tribe African, but they hypersexualize them.
Right.
They're crazy
That's good.
sexualized.
That's all right. I can
Right? So by the time you get to Peter Jackson's version of King Kong, he's like, no way am I stepping into this crazy racist tribe depiction stuff. So what he does is just invent a people. He invents a race of people. They're just covered in mud. You don't know what they are. They're just savages. And now in this version, it's the weirdest thing. They have a tribe, it's like a multicultural tribe. There are Asians, there are black people, there are white people, it's just this weird hodgepodge. You know, and again, this is the cultural moment. I think we'll always have King Kong movies as long as, you know, we're dealing with some of the same issues. And I think you're right, though. I think to take Samuel L. Jackson and to put him into the role of the hunter,
Right.
it offsets the movie's balance in an interesting way.
And what, don't you think it adds that militaristic element of it, the commentary on the crazed military? When you look at contemporary times when the military is going to be bloated, it's that same concern that they overcoming the better judgment of others, that they're going to go after it. And don't you think, too, that as we progress, and that progression that you're talking about, we start talking about the nuclear component.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have Godzilla. We even have, and don't you think, even have Jurassic Park, where we're cloning.
For sure.
We're cloning. So
science is always behind it. It's
right,
yeah. And yeah, the the atomic age gave rise to Godzilla. It's also interesting, Samuel L. Jackson here, because culturally, for us, he's, you know, I mean, the guy is literally in everything.
He is.
He might be. I say literally because he might be in everything. He's so immensely likable that when you cast him in a villain part like this, there's a part of you rooting for him, the same part of you that roots for Kong. You know, when Kong just starts batting helicopters out of the sky, you get it, right? Mm-hmm. And I also kind of understood Samuel L. Jackson's motivation here, where he's like, F this ape. I'm going to screw this guy. He, like, knocked my helicopters out of the sky. I'm taking him down.
And he also tells us that the military is there to take care of our problems, and we can be comfortable back home. We shouldn't even know about it. Mm-hmm. So there's a kind of purist military point of view. That's why this stuff is so rich. Now, what do you think if we don't look at giant monsters when you get to monsters like...
Okay, well, before we go there, I want to ask you... I want to ask you what your favorite giant monster is. Do you remember being a kid and seeing a giant... Well, you told me The Lost World, but that was 1925.
No, but as monster...
When you were a kid, what giant monster caught your imagination?
Always Kong. And the 1933 Kong, and I'll tell you, when he breaks the chains in front of all those people, I say they are going to get what they deserve.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
that's great.
So anyway, yes, he's the one. Now, I'm thinking about other monsters like that kind of morph all this stuff into something more even insidious, such as the monster in Alien.
Okay.
So I'm looking at monsters...
Certainly imposingly tall.
Right. What about Frankenstein?
Imposingly tall, but giant.
Well, I know they're not giant, but if you can get off that motif...
I know, but I mean, this is a whole other show, these monsters.
I don't know.
What about Jaws?
Jaws, I was going to say.
Okay. See,
sure.
Again, it's just, you know what's great about Jaws is that it's not giant, it's just, like, freakishly big, you know?
Yes.
Freakishly big stuff. I think that's a kind of a problem that a lot of contemporary monster movies make. They make everything too big. Like, did you notice that this Kong, you know how tall Kong is historically?
He was like only 20-some feet, right?
Like 40 feet.
Oh, is it?
50.
In this one, he's 100.
Right, in this one, you know why? You know why?
Well, I don't know.
Because they're going to set it up to, he's going to fight Godzilla, that's why. They're already...
Is that true, or is that just
No, that is true.
I love this stuff.
Yeah,
anyway, so you mean to tell me we might have another show?
Now, who are you going to root for?
I root for Fay Ray.
No, stop. Who do you root for? King Kong versus Godzilla?
Well, it'll be Kong all the way for me.
Well, how does he win?
Huh?
Godzilla has that fire breath and stuff.
Yeah, well, I know.
And a tail.
Well, how do you pull the tongue out of that monster in King Kong?
Yeah, it was
recently.
awesome.
Wasn't that cool?
That was cool.
So they'll think of different ways. They will never put him down.
He better start working out.